AskReddit by Love Boobs in DM. What is the dumbest thing you've ever heard? My dad once told me that the reason why his relationships with his ex-wife, my mom, and his new girlfriend fell apart must be because they were both the same zodiac sign. No dad, I think it's because you cheated on them. But he only cheats on Capricorns, so. I was in the backseat at night and I noticed that she was driving with the high beams on. When I warned her, she said, "The high beams are for the highway." I know a woman who drives around everywhere with high beams on. Her excuse is that she can't see at night so everyone else can suck it. She once got road raged at for it and was appalled that someone had the audacity to tell her she can't use high beams. Removed. That's something. I was talking to a woman at a friend's BBQ who thought Albert Einstein invented gravity, and that by physically writing his equations for it backwards, we could unlock the secrets to levitation. Meth speak. A girl I used to work with was pissed that her boyfriend only bought me 12 roses. He wouldn't even go all out for a dozen. What a jerk. Was she a baker? Went to college in LA. Oftentimes you can see Catalina Island from the beach. Girl I knew thought it was fucking Japan. Went to college with someone who thought cows came from eggs because cows give milk, which is a dairy, and so are eggs. Edit. I know eggs aren't dairy. It just made the broken syllogism worse. Heard a woman talking about how she had just been to Morocco and how amazing it was. She then immediately started talking about how she had never been to Africa, but would love to. Seems very strange that someone would book and go on a holiday without at any point checking where in the world they are going. I once talked to a girl who came back from a 2-week holiday and legit didn't know which country she had been to. After talking to her going back and forth about what the flags looked like there, she said there had been a lot of white and blue flags, so we settled on Greece. I was literally shaking my head. My step-granddad's son-in-law went by slick. His feats of stupidity were too frequent to fully enumerate here, but some highlights include his belief that cough drops only work indoors because the medicine they contain is neutralized by outdoor air. His attempt to house and leash break an armadillo in an effort to impress his fancy cousins. His remark that the town wasted money replacing an obviously dilapidated bridge because it's been there for years and years. If it was going to collapse, it would have happened by now. Step-granddad's son-in-law needs to be one of those intelligence questions on trying to figure out who John is. Watching Lord of the Rings with someone. So this was like a really long time ago, huh? Yes. It's a documentary. What's Obama's last name? When my son was little, he thought Obama's name was Barack Obama. My granny said she saw on TV that you can charge a phone by rubbing it on a cat and told me to try it out since she couldn't make her cat do it. Bless her soul. Is David Attenborough that guy that believes in evolution? I mean, he's one of them. I worked in a coffee shop and someone asked me for a double espresso without water. I made him a double and served it to him and amp. He said that has water in it. I was so confused I just put coffee grounds in the cup. Got a disciplinary for that. What did he want? Dinosaurs are just made up fairy tales. It wouldn't be so bad, but we live in London with the Natural History Museum with full-scale dinosaurs there for people to see. I mean, if he believes dinosaurs are made up, I guess it's not that weird if he believes that a museum full of their fossils are artificially fabricated. One of my co-workers is a flat earther. The dumb thing about it is we are surveyors. Our job involves adapting data from a planar view, flat paper maps, to an ellipsoid geoid model, GPS. The whole idea of satellites falling towards Earth through space, thereby circling the Earth on this mathematical model, only works if the Earth is round. Well, sort of round. Either way, My colleague works with GPS and still thinks the earth is flat. He's either really dumb or I will lose my house if we had to play poker. How do you become a surveyor, where your whole job involves believing the earth is round, if you are a flat earther? They should make murder illegal. Ben Shapiro once scoffed on Twitter that no one in a group of Democrats chose crime as the thing they would ban if they were elected. Edit. Found it. https://x.com/Ben Shapiro/status/1405874241514442754 close bracket. That adult woman who talked about the sun shutting off at night. She was the safety rep at our company. Oh no. I wonder how some people survived this long being so dumb. For the longest time, my roommate thought Africa was one country. He also thought Sudan was located in Asia. Family Feud, name a country where everyone speaks English. Europe. Available on YouTube. This was well over 10 years ago. Still takes the cake. I refuse to be an organ donor because I'm gonna need those, to which I replied, you know you'd be dead right. She doubled down, I don't care, right, still need them. My stepbrother, an adult, told me he would never be an organ donor because he would need them when he got to heaven. I asked, you believe that you will go to heaven, but Jesus will let you walk around with missing parts? He answered yes. Tide comes in, tide goes out, you can't explain that. Can your science explain why it rains? Ha ha ha. Yes. Yes it can. 1. I think I'm gonna do a cross-country road trip to Africa someday. No one ever does it and I want to be one of the few. Spoken by a high schooler with poor education, Texas. 2. Turn the lights off, they are sucking up all of the warm air. Girl really believed electronics and fire actually absorbed heat and that's how they became hard to touch, subsequently lowering the temp around it. I used to work in a grocery store and this elderly woman said, 25 cents a pound? I can get them 4 pounds for $1 at Safeway. Is Spanish a dialect of Chinese? I think the term you're looking for is Filipino. I once encountered someone who insisted that Britney Spears invented electronic dance music. Not popularized. Not revolutionized, invented. Knew a guy who hated cucumbers. Like, had an almost violently moral hatred towards them. But he loved pickles. It wasn't until he was well into adulthood that he found out what pickles were made from and proceeded to have a crisis of faith. I have a friend who's vegetarian. I downright destroyed her world when I told her about the gelatin in her beloved Haribo colon.